Mao.
This was a white lash. This was a white lash.
You're fucking
This was a white lash.
You're fucking a white man. 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 You're fucking a white male. You're fucking a white male. You're fucking a white male.
Hey again, everybody. Let me turn my mic down so I don't hear my echo. There we go. I'm assuming it's recording. Hey, everybody. Yeah, it's Friday. Who cares what day of the week it is? It's a day of the week. It's time for something. Check out my desktop. Mindless Random Insanity, the name of my new Patreon exclusive podcast. The first episode is already up at patreon.com/Toronto Guy. If you're a fan of Toronto Guy's rambling, especially when he's high, then you want to pledge at least $1 a month to listen to the first episode of Mindless Random Insanity. Patreon.com/Toronto Guy, where I just go off on tangents and talk about shit. Yeah, for an hour and a half. You know, kill time at work. My rambling, which a lot of people like, some people don't. Shut up, so I'll stop rambling. So let's get to it. Alright, so are we ready, everybody? Check this out. It's article time. Check this lovely shit out. I saw this, and I had to bookmark it and read it live, and react to it live. This is from CNBC. Look at this beautiful headline. Women have $890 billion in student loan debt, the country's biggest share. This is in the US, obviously. Women shoulder around $890 billion in student loans, the vast majority of the outstanding balance in the US. And once they have those degrees, they earn less than men too. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Shit, they're going to talk about the goddamn supposed wage gap, aren't they? That means they take longer to repay their debt. This is from Wednesday, June the 6th of 2018. Well, before I continue, obviously it seems like they're going to talk about, they're going to mention the so-called mythical fucking gender wage gap, but no, it's all bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. I'll get to that a little more later, but yeah, it's going to take, yeah, those degrees. Yeah. Let's just read the fucking article. Oh, boo-hoo, she's crying. All right. Women are carrying nearly 2/3 of the country's outstanding student loan debt. That alarming math comes out of a new report by the American Association of University Women, an education advocacy group titled Deeper in Debt, Women and Student Loans. Oh, I guess I could have read that shit. I'm sure this is like the short version of it for stupid people like me. Patreon.com/Toronto Guy. Absent-minded thee. You know, first of all, how is this a surprise? I mean, feminism and the fucking mainstream media has been boasting for how long now about how women make up the majority of university students and college students. Hip hip hurrah. And now they're pissing and moaning about it. So of course they have the most debt. If the majority of friggin' university and college students are women, of course they're going to have the majority of the debt. But them talking about it's going to take a while to pay off, well, of course it is. The question is, what did these women major in? What did they get their degrees in? I mean, if they got their degrees in STEM, surely they would be able to get a decent job and they wouldn't have to worry about it. Let's continue reading. To be sure, 56% of today's college students are women. So there you go. There you go. So of course they're going to have the most. And so it makes sense that more women than men hold education debt. Of course it does, because there's a majority of them. But what's real fucked up is just over 56%, according to this, of college students are women. Yet they hold like 75% or 2/3, which is what, 66%, I guess, 66.66%. So, wow, it's almost as if a lot of women out there are getting degrees in numerous worthless subjects or something. Let's see. And student loans are increasingly a burden for anyone in pursuit of an education. Since 1976, the cost of college attendance has ballooned 150%, while the median household income went up 20%, according to the American Association of University Women. Well, I mean, come on, man, look it up. Do a quick Google search and look up, you know, like worthless, like basically, things that you can't believe are actually. You can actually get a degree in school, in college. I remember looking it up probably a year ago. There's colleges out there that have courses in climbing trees, for fuck's sakes. Climbing trees. You can go to college to earn a degree in tree climbing. Now, it could be that is for example, before I continue, I'm rambling. Dig it. Culinary college, I've talked about it. I'm very looking into it. To me, going to you know, at my age, going back to school, culinary college. What the whole deal is you need to pick You pick the main thing, like, you know, basically cooking. Let's just call it cooking 101. But on top of that, you have to select 6 like side courses in order to earn the culinary degree. So you take the mandatory cooking 101, which you do for like 6 or so months or something. But then the mandatory ones include Indian cooking, pasta, baking, Italian, knife skills. There's even knife skills, and there's plating, like a bunch of this shit. So like the tree climbing thing could be one of the optionals that are required to get a degree in having sex with trees or studying plant life or something. Who knows? But tree climbing, it existed. So let's continue. Now, 7 in 10 students take out loans to get their degree. But what degree are they getting, everybody? The average person leaves school $30,000 in arrears. Just say debt, idiot. Who wrote this fucking shit? Annie Nova. Okay, so I'm sure she's going to mention the fucking wage gap. Arrears. Well, what college did you go to for that fucking 25-cent Carlson penning word? $30,000 in arrears, while nearly 20% owe more than $100,000. Americans are now more burdened by education loans than they are by credit card or auto debt. Of course they are. Shit me? You know why? I mean, I remember hearing like, what, a year or two back when this big fucking Pokemon Go shit came out, the big craze. I remember all of a sudden hearing, yeah, universities, there's some universities who are offering degrees in Pokemon Go. It's like, what? Why? Because people are dumb enough to take it. And the banks, or the government in these cases, because it's the government basically who loans out the student loan money, from what I understand. Of course, man, they'll give you money, because then you will be in debt to them for the rest of your fucking life. Despite what all these Bernie Sanders types say, that they want to abolish all student debt. You know how that'll just. I'm not an economist of any sort, but I can't imagine that wouldn't have a huge fucking negative impact on the economy as a whole. Like, just, I mean, what, $890 billion is owed to the government plus interest? They're just gonna forgive that shit? This is just the women. Now, if 890 billion is nearly 2/3, then that means the men, how much is the men? How much is a third? I guess the men student debt is like maybe 200 billion at about, or something, but definitely lower, because a lot of dudes aren't retarded. You know, they'll go to school and they won't take gender fucking studies and shit. Let's continue. Forget this quote. No, let's read it. Never before have so many owed so much, and the implications of this situation are enormous. Well, I do work with some people who are in their mid-30s and shit, and they've told me before that, you know, they are still paying off their student debts. They're in their 30s and they're still paying that shit off, and they don't see an end to it anytime soon. And these are like people who took like psychology in fucking school. And where did they end up? They ended up on at a TV network, literally getting paid to watch television, okay? As opposed, they could have been an editor, or like psychology. Come on, man. Conversations on student loans need to start with the recognition that certain demographics are hit harder than others, said Kim Churches, CEO of the American Association University Women. Even when you compare apples to apples, women are taking on more debt individually, she said. In 2016, the average woman left her undergraduate education owing $21,000 that much, plus, or compared to $18,000 for men. That's a difference of more than $2,700. Black women in particular are taking on a disproportionate amount of debt, racking up around $25,000 in student loans to receive their bachelor's degree, the study found. See, I don't get it. They keep saying that the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, math, whatever the fuck it stands for, is dominated by men. So these are obviously high-paying jobs, or have the chance of obtaining a high-paying job. And as I said, the studies or the people have said that these STEM are dominated by males. So what the fuck are women taking in college other than gender studies to rack up all this debt? I mean, granted, they said that 56%. Okay, when I hear that 2/3 of the student debt is owned by women, I would have figured, okay, that makes sense, because like 70% of university students are women. No, just over half are. So what the fuck are they doing in college, man? Apparently they're wasting their fucking time. I mean, it's not like there's videos all over the place of them wasting their fucking time and yelling and screaming at the sky. Let's continue. There's Warren Buffett. Hey, Warren, is this a thing? You do not want to give... whatever the fuck he's talking about. Go away. Never before have so many owed so much, the report reads, and the implications of this situation are enormous. You're fucking telling me. I mean, in 2008, it was the housing bubble. Very, very soon, it's going to be the student debt bubble that's going to pop and fuck everything up. And it's going to be the fault of all these women and their useless fucking degrees. Okay? Kudos to the seemingly few women out there who are taking, you know, degrees that will actually land them a decent fucking job, as opposed to, you know, this, like, fucking hell. People borrow more, of course, when they have less money to put toward their education. Look what's coming up. God damn it. Fucking hell. Of course a female wrote this fucking article. Then again, it could have been a male, because there's a lot of dudes out there who buy this wage gap shit. In addition, women are more likely than men to have family responsibilities to balance along with their coursework, church has said, and therefore may take longer to graduate. More time in school can result in the need for more loans. Why would that result in the need for more loans? I mean, aren't you supposed to use your student loan for student purposes? Are these women going out and buying pointless fucking shit with their money that they were loaned that's supposed to go to their education? Are they using it to buy fancy little book covers with puffy things on them to look all pretty? Like, or are they using it to piss it away to buy, like, I'd love to know. I think they should be required to give a receipt, hand over a fucking receipt for every purchase they have. Like the government, like Trump should say, or in my case, that fucking Trudeau guy should say, okay, here's $20,000, and if you don't give us a receipt for every penny that you spent so we can know what you spent it on, we're gonna add an additional $5,000 just because you obviously pissed it away on bullshit and you got yourself into trouble, and now you're gonna want us to fucking bury you out of it. So shut up. I'm Justin Trudeau, and I would never say that because I'm a fucking pansy. Wage gap, here we fucking go. God damn it. The fact that more women are borrowing in greater amounts is especially troubling when you consider that they also earn 27% less than their male counterparts inside of school. That means that women will take longer than men to repay their student loans and therefore rack up the interest, falling deeper into debt and the hole and all this shit. Fuck off. Fuck off. Okay? So, if a dude, let's call him Jimmy. Let's say Jimmy decides he wants to go into fucking taking Pokemon Go course, and then a girl, let's call her Jammy, decides to also take a course in Pokemon Go. Wouldn't they both be getting the same amount of money? Why are women getting more money? Because they're pissing it away on shit they don't need, obviously. Including that worthless degree that a lot of them are getting, I'm sure. More from Personal Finance. Yeah, shut up. Who cares about links? While men pay off 13% of their debt a year, women are able to chip in just 10%, the study found. Well, I'm surprised it's that much. Holy shit. You fucking shitting me? You know, at the risk of sounding like a fucking sexist asshole and not giving a shit, I'm surprised it's 10% because a lot of the females I've known personally are materialistic and piss money away on worthless shit. For example, woman number 2 from the infamous My Life as a Mangina Part 2, which you can listen to patreon.com/TorontoGuy, and only there, because it's on there. You can listen to that in MP3 format, where she would just receive money because she only works 3 days a week. Her elderly aunt I saw it with my own eyes on more than one occasion when I was hanging out with her, would give her a wad of cash, and what did the woman, it was supposed to be to help her pay her bills and buy food. What did she do with it? Later that day, when her aunt gave her, on one of the days, when her aunt gave her a wad of fucking cash, woman number 2 drove me and her daughter to a Walmart in which she bought a bunch of fucking pointless shit. She bought a fucking rubber plant. She bought a fucking porcelain Buddha statue. She bought a bunch of crap with money that her old aunt gave her to help her fucking get by. She pissed it away. So 10%, I'm surprised it's that fucking high. 3 years after graduating, women have paid off less than a third of their debt, while men have wiped away around 40%. That's what you get. These numbers reveal an irony at play in our educational system, Church has said. Education can be the great equalizer in our society, but if the rising tuition is impacting certain people more than others, it's now disenfranchising them, he said, or she said. Charts and graphs. They're going by race. So black women have the most debt, followed by black men, followed by white women, followed by white men, followed by Hispanic. So all women. Look at those. Look at the Asians, man, kicking ass, and they're the biggest money earners. Like, we gotta learn from the Asians, man. We gotta learn from the Orientals. Oh my God, that's racist, Toronto guy. Patreon.com/Toronto guy. We gotta learn from the Asians, man. They're coming out with the less amount of debt and making the most fucking money. Like, I'd like to know what the fuck are the people of color doing? Maybe they're majoring in people of color studies, which is also pretty fucking pointless. What are you gonna do with a people of color degree? Where are you gonna show up with that to get a fucking job? That's gonna help you pay off this fucking like $30,000 in debt. Come on, man. Oh, that's the end of the article. Here's Annie Nova. So there's the end of the article, right? Yeah. No comments. Of course not, because people would rip it to fucking shreds, like I just did, like a boss. But there you go. This whole wage gap shit just it's gotten to the point where it doesn't even really annoy me, even though I sounded annoyed. It's more like, oh fuck, here we go again, roll the eyes, because all the shit that they don't even take into account, like forget the usual shit, you know, life choices and shit. What about the shit like me? I've said this before, the place I work at, I've been there for this is going to be the 23rd year now. If somebody, let's say, so I've been there 23 years, does somebody who's been there 10 years who does the same work as I do deserve to be paid the same as I do? No, because I put fucking more time into it. They never friggin' talk about that kind of shit when they friggin' go on about the wage gap shit. Okay? All these women complaining. Like, for example, Jamie, for example, who went for a Pokemon degree with Jimmy. Jamie, like, goes for a fucking job at, let's say, for argument's sake, a fucking Best Buy. Right? No, actually, fuck it. Let's say a fucking Best Buy as a friggin' salesperson. She shows up. I want to be a salesperson. Well, what qualifications do you have? I have a degree in Pokemon. Well, luckily you don't need really any skills to work here. So here you go. Here's your job. She gets a job, and right away, oh, who's that dude over there? Oh, that's Billy Bob. Oh, how long's Billy Bob been here? He's been here 5 years. And what does he do? Billy Bob does the same thing you do. He's in sales. Does he make more than me? Yes, he does. Well, that's not fucking fair. Well, he's been here 5 years. I don't give a fuck how long he's been here. We do the same thing. Like, I can't believe the shit they don't take into consideration. But there we have it. All this debt. Oh, think about it. This is from this year, yeah. So think about it. These young 20-something women, in about 5-10 years or less, are gonna be fucking desperate. Because I seriously doubt even if, like, let's say some fucking fucked up socialist like Bernie Sanders gets elected president of America, or some fucked up socialist gets elected prime minister of Canada. They're not going to eliminate all the fucking debt and shit. They're not going to do that shit. There's not going to be free fucking college. How are you going to pay for that shit? Who's going to pay the teachers? The government? Well, then that means you're going to have to raise fucking taxes. You're going to fuck people up even more. Bloody hell. I mean, I'm no economist, but I assume that's what would happen. They're not going to do shit. So eventually all these women who are $890 billion in fucking debt are going to get so fucking desperate. They're going to, you know where they're going to end up? They're going to end up on the fucking dating sites, all right? They are going to be ending up on the online dating sites in the next few years, trying to find any fucking sucker who will be willing to share their fucking $890 billion burden. All right, and there are dudes who will do that. So I feel bad for the dudes who are gonna get suckered into that shit, because you are gonna get so fucked over. Because let's say you do help that girl pay off her $30,000 in debt. The day after, she will probably fucking leave your ass, and you'll be with nothing. These women are gonna be so fucking desperate when there's nobody there to help them. All this girl power shit. This is just a joke. I mean, take STEM. Come on, man. I mean, maybe one of the links here talks about, you know, what degrees a lot of these women are getting, and if they're actually worth anything. Right? Right. But it doesn't talk about that shit. You know, they conveniently leave out a lot of shit, just like they do with the whole wage gap nonsense. And it still boggles the mind in this internet age, when you can just look up things and find out information in seconds, that there is a law in the States. I mean, I live in fucking Canada, and it seems I know more about American law than a lot of Americans do. I know that there's a friggin' law that's been in place for like 50 fucking years that says that pay discrimination based on race and gender is a fucking crime. There's already a law. Hillary Clinton, the fucking lawyer, knows this, but she relied on the stupidity and laziness of her supporters to not look that shit up and just go with it. That's the problem with a lot of these fucking people today, and it's all over the place. It's also on the right as well, the conservatives as well. They won't look shit up. They'll go to a source that they, quote, trust, and go with that shit. It's just ridiculous how, when information is right there for you, people, because they want to believe what they want to believe, will believe what they want to believe. Okay? Not one fucking time. I know I'm rambling. Patreon.com/Toronto Guy. Everybody loves my rambling. Not one time, back when I would go on Twitter and the wage gap would be trending or something, and I would just reply to somebody, and I would bring up the friggin' law from that's been in place for 50 years on somebody who's like, who was tweeting, wage gap, we gotta put an end to it, blah, blah, blah. I would reply basically saying there already is a law. I've never, ever, 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 ever gotten a fucking rebuttal from any of them. Nothing. They just ignore it. Why? Because it's inconvenient to their narrative. How the fuck, if there's only 56% women in college, do you have 2/3 of the fucking debt? What are they pissing? What are they doing with the money that they have to keep getting more money out? They're obviously not spending all of it. They're obviously not spending all of it on what they're supposed to be spending it on. They're spending it on shit. They're probably buying fucking porcelain friggin' statues of Buddha for their dorm rooms and friggin' rubber fucking plants for their dorm rooms, and they're probably pissing it away too. And I have no sympathy for them. And I hope that there's enough dudes out there who won't fall for this shit, when I guarantee these women are gonna end up on those fucking dating sites, man. Because right now, my age group, you know, the Generation Xers, like the 40, the early 40 somethings, back when I was on those sites, almost every fucking woman was a single mother. And when I think single mother, one of the things I think of is, okay, this woman needs financial assistance. And that's why she's here. She's looking for a fucking sucker to share the mess that she got herself into. And soon, those dating sites are going to be overridden with these debt-ridden bitches looking for a fucking pansy, a fucking simp, mangina little bitch to help her pay down her debt. And as he's doing it, she'll probably be pissing money away, thinking, I can go ahead and buy this this universal remote for my television. This universal remote that costs $40 because I found a sucker who's helping me pay off my debt. So, yeah, it's got nothing to do with wage gap. Well, maybe it does, but no, it's wage earnings, okay? But bloody hell, 56% are women, yet they have 2/3 of the debt. How the fuck does that happen? Investigate that shit. And they say, and the woman said, oh, it's because, you know, they may have families and shit and blah, blah, blah. Well, so what? Are you spending that money, some of that student loan money, on fucking shoes for your kid? Well, you shouldn't be. That's not what it's for. So it's your own fucking fault that you're $890 billion in debt. This has been Toronto Guy. Patreon.com/Toronto Guy. I'm about to smoke a J. I was going to do it before this, but I didn't want to sound extremely retarded. Just, you know, usual retarded here on The Absent Minded. Patreon.com/Toronto Guy. Check out the MRI podcast exclusive to Patrons. If you're not a Patreon, you don't get to listen to it. Ever. And thanks to those who are Patrons. Jimmy, Gordon, Beard Boy, and there's somebody else. Jimmy, Gordon, Beard Boy. Jimmy, Gordon, Beard Boy, and somebody else. That's right, because I get $4 a month. $1 a month, people. You get the old shit and exclusive new shit. Speaking of shit, I have to take one, and then I have to do a joint. So there we go, ladies. You got yourself into this fucking mess, and I hope nobody helps you out of it. Either you're gonna have to find a sucker on a friggin' online dating site, which I'm sure won't be hard, because there's a lot of stupid fucking morons on those dating sites, or maybe you've gotten to the point where you hate men so much you're gonna have to find another female who's also in debt. Can you imagine that? As I continue to ramble, things just keep coming to my mind because I'm just so fucking brilliant. Can you imagine 2 women in debt living together thinking it'll help? Maybe it'll help because they can share the fucking rent and shit, but come on. They'll fuck each other over because women in debt hate each other. They're filled with hate. And I'm an expert on that. And I didn't have to go to college to become an expert. I'm an expert because I have eyes and ears. This has been Toronto Guy. Now I'm going to go. Have an awesome weekend. Stay tuned for a gaming video. I finished Ratchet & Clank last week. This week, PSN Store has great fucking sales on. I picked up Skyrim. Maybe I'll play that. Skyrim with 50% off. Who knows, but I'll start something. I also got Super Mega Baseball where you can customize the players and give them like their own names. So maybe I'll create a bunch of players of people who are like subs and shit. Maybe I'll like create a team with me and with Jimmy and I was gonna say Feldman, Freeman, and whoever else, and have another team filled with feminists and shit. Real life feminists. Be awesome. Who knows? Rambling is awesome. Patreon.com/Toronto Guy. Have an awesome day. Now I'm gonna leave.